song slaps.
Good evening and welcome to the pilot episode of MM1. I am a Lopex and joining me is the co-host of MM1.
Hey, it's me, Caleb.
And together we are hoping that this becomes a semi-regular thing, right? We'll say semi-regular. Ideally weekly. Life may get in the way here and there. And so we just wanted to jump in real quick and lend our opinions on the state of Day of Defeat 1.3 today, because as we all know, Caleb, we are the only opinions that matter.
We're the loudest opinions.
Well, that too. So, what is it? Might makes right, and if you're loud enough, that's the only one that you can hear. So, that's what we're going for. So, we are right in the middle of the season of season 4 of KTP. You are currently starting for Saab Appreciation Society.
I think I'm benching, but I can start if I ask politely enough.
You are currently playing with Saab Appreciation
Yeah,
Society.
yeah.
And they are in KPT or KTP Silver. So let's do it real quick. Let's go ahead and look at those standings for KTP Silver. All right. And so what we're looking at here is we are looking at 9 teams, and these 9 teams are relatively close together. We have Insomniac leading the way at 4-1, and then we have Washed Up and Team H at 3-1, with Washed Up having a better point differential by a lot, by about 1,200 points. Is this how you thought the standings would shake out when the season started?
I think that there are a few surprises. I know that 3H's only loss came very early in the season, and I think when a team just recently forms like that, we shouldn't be shocked to have one slip out in the very first match. Um, but having 3H at the top of the table is something I expected. No goes looking good. A lot of the point differentials is really deceiving because we're winning matches by 2,000 points in one match only. So once you play that one match, then you get caught back up. So the points against, etc. It's kind of rough. But uh, there's been a lot of close matches, and there's been some upsets that honestly we didn't really expect. I didn't know if R11 was going to beat Insomniac on Lennon. Was it Lennon? Yeah, it was Lennon, and that was an upset in my opinion. I know that R11 has very good rifles, but I thought that Insomniac's heavy team would pull through for that win, but uh, Insomniac let that one slip away. But they're still at the top of the board, 4-1. And I mean, there's three teams right behind them with 3 wins, and then all the other teams. I mean, this is a pretty close race. Even Shut Up, We're Trying. They can knock off 3 in a row really easily.
So the entire schedule. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. Our entire schedule is how many weeks? 9.
Um,
It's 9 weeks.
9.
So we are roughly halfway through, right? There's not a 4.5 week point, but so we're roughly halfway through with buys and such. The only teams that have buys left are Shut Up has a buy this week, Sob has a buy next week, Insomniac has a buy, and No Go still has a buy.
Yeah, Sob's buy is really disappointing to me because that's on my best map. So it is kind of a pain to lose that chance to play Railroad for me. But I think that with the teams that have already gotten buys, haven't really examined the standings, but I think that they're going to be coasting in pretty well into the first round of playoffs.
Yeah, I always wonder when a buy is best. So in football, baseball, basketball, having a week off or having a buy is super important physically, right? But in an esports type, unless you're dealing with like tennis elbow, like some Dota 2 pros have dealt with in the past, right? Uh, uh, we don't necessarily are doing too much physical activity when we compete, right? So a buy to me is more mentally when it comes here, right? And so, what do you think? Do you think early buy or later buy is better?
I agree with what you're saying. I also think that roster availability is really crucial with buys. For example, I know Spicy was missing Dilliard for their match against 3H, and if they had a buy that week, they might be looking better in the standings. But slipping one match when there's only 9 played, and that one match that you're missing one of your top 3 players, that's a huge impact player like Dilliard is. I would rather have the buy, but you can't plan that in advance. You know that we all have lives, but one team might get lucky, and the week they have a buy is the week that the in-laws weren't down. I think that's really where it comes down to.
Yeah, especially since, this is essentially a beer league with just a bunch of adults goofing off, right? So, like you said, we all have lives. In fact, we started this episode a whole hour later than we anticipated starting it because our lives. And so, yeah, I think that's a good point. So then the question is going into playoffs after week 9, do you want that week 9 bye? Or do you want to play to make sure you have that momentum going forward?
God, so I don't like having buys at all. I like having momentum, especially when it comes to like getting ready for the most intense matches you have. But I do think that like if depending on how this is going to be structured, if there is any buys, the teams that are the supposedly 2 teams that get buys, I don't think currently we know for sure what the KT admins are going to do. But if there are teams that get buys, they're going to be a little bit on a different pedestal or a different skill threshold than the teams that don't have buys. I mean, typically in the past, I don't know if Lads and the team that was in second place, I don't know if they had buys going into the playoffs last season. But I mean, when it came to actually how the playoffs shook out, Lads was kind of they eventually won, and they went to 3 games in their finals. I don't know if they went to 3 games. Basically, I think it's a coin flip if it really does have an effect to have a buy or not. But personally, for me, I do like to have that momentum going in.
So I think River Oyster, who is going to feature later on in this episode, just made a really good point. He's buys matter more for map selection.
Very good point. There's a lot of maps that some of us would really prefer not to play, and I think that like for example, if you got to buy on Solitude, Solitude's kind of a controversial map that we're not playing this season. Or if you got to buy on Armory or buy on Howie, um, that's a potential. God, who had the buy on Thunder? They really lucked out.
Yeah, they did luck out because you get an automatic 150 points for Thunder. Well, most teams only win by 150 points, whereas on Harrington you can win by like 1,000 points. But if you got the buy there, 50.
Yeah, we had that whole dilemma in season 2 about the whole is a buy worth 150 points? Is it not worth that many points? And in the end, it was all a wash because we played extra matches and it was. I don't even remember how all the math worked out, but I think the playoff seedings was just fine the way that it planned out. And really, when we're just trying to get people into playoffs so that they can show who is the best when it comes to basically we're just assigning bracket seeding. We're not like trying to say in the regular season I'm 4-1 and you're 3-2, obviously I'm better. It's like there's a lot of variables, and playoffs is really where a team can show how dominant they actually are.
In Source, they play multiple maps per week.
Yeah, that is a very different setup. Where also you play home and away based on U.S. or European servers. Like there's a lot of ways that we're still in the dark ages with our Cal setup of just one day, 1 week, and unless you're NSA and you play 3 matches in one day.
Yeah, but then again they gave themselves buys for 3 weeks in a row and then had to catch up. So
Honestly, it sounds like they're just rigging their scheduling, but I don't make rules.
speaking of NSA, let's go ahead and look at NSA in the gold standing. So KTP Gold is looking at with a standing of, I think NSA is right on top with 5-0.
That's wild. I mean, it's not like they're the best or anything. And some of this is panning out a little bit surprising. Um, I honestly, I am surprised NSA didn't drop one match, and I like a lot of the guys on NSA. I've known them for years. Um, but seeing Thunder 3-2 is kind of shocking, and obviously that means that NSA took one on them, and I think the other match that Thunder lost to was to Icy Hot. I don't have the exact uh, um, table in front of me. Um,
We have Thunder beating Clinic, Thunder beating Over, then they lost to Icy Hot, and then they lost to NSA, and then they beat Chill Pill.
okay. And then I do know we're going to watch this demo pretty soon, but that Shilpo match was much closer than anyone expected.
That Chill Pill match on Armory this week was extremely close, and we're going to talk about that later.
Yeah, from what I understand, it came down to literally the end. And um, was that shoutcasted?
Um, I don't think it was.
Yeah, one thing that it is a bummer when the only alternative shoutcasting is HLTV is some of these matches are kind of just like things that happened, and then we just all we have is screenshots and then a little bit of anecdotes to go by. But that's 40 minutes of like constant struggle that Chopil almost took one off of the reigning champs.
Yeah, and Maybe I'm. What team is tomfoolery on?
A clinic,
Clinic. Okay, never mind. Everything I was about to say, disregard.
of course. But Chill Pill is running a little bit of a lads roster with a few other players that are very, very serviceable players. Basically, you have Chi, team owner, uh, um, Booten, Gall, and Booten coming from Why So Serious, and then other teams in the past as well. Gall coming from Goose Patrol, which were the running up from Silver last season. Very, very capable players that are putting this team together to try to make a stab at gold. And they've played in gold in the past, and it's a tough challenge. I can't do it. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat things. Like I'm not built for gold. And when there's players who are built for gold and they want to make a team, Arachnid on that team as well. When they went Baron, when they put a team like that together, they can almost take down two-time reigning champs on a map that one of the reigning champs designed. Like something they're doing is right. They just need to keep work on the chemistry.
Yeah. Well, I can't even play silver, so don't worry about it.
That's a different pace.
When KTP bronze comes back, that's when I'll dust off the playing chops. You know.
Bronze is rough too, man. There's a lot of sandbaggers down there.
All right. So, speaking of this last week, speaking of that chill pill match, I actually sat down with a team owner from Chill Pill, and we talked about this match against Thunder and how Chill Pill and how specifically team owner approached that match on Armory. So, let's go ahead and jump over, and this is Colin from Team Chill Pill. I am joined here with Colin, team owner. Colin, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So I went through your demos on the Armory match, and I just wanted to get your opinion on a few things, specifically brand new map, right? First time we've played it in League play. I think we played it maybe a couple versions in a draft or something, but this is our first like multiple matches on the map. So, what are your takeaways? What do you think?
Yeah, it's an interesting map. As a rifle, I love kind of whenever you have long open spaces where you can kind of just have open rifle battles. So have naturally gravitated more towards the bridge side, but have run a few scrims on the heavy side as accompanying the heavy. That side's fun too. There's a lot of just different corridors you can get to mid pretty easily. So I think it's pretty balanced and fun. Take on Murder A, Sturm, whatever the latest version of what this map is. So I'm a big fan of just new maps in general. I feel like we've been playing over time. There's a remake or some 2 thumbs up from Timo.
All right. So in the match, you went bridge most of the time. And I will say that you guys were pretty locked. A specific like idea that you guys had, or did that just like develop as the match went on?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, I like to play more fluid, where you can kind of based on spawns, you can go to different routes and things like that. But for Armory, it was kind of important, more so on Axis side than Allied side, that we wanted to make sure that we had all of our bases covered so that we didn't get ninja'd. So rifle went on the right side, and then the sniper we kind of just bounced off. So if Arachnid was going lower to Bat Cave, then one of us would try to go into the sniper loft and give them a different look. But if he was in sniper loft, we were pretty much just running either one would split off kind of side to give them something different to look at.
All right. So, you guys started on ally side, and the consensus seems to be that this map is ally sided. And so the ally seems to be the most important half. And
yeah,
and you guys ended up taking a lead into halftime. You guys won your allied side half, but then second half, Thunder kind of roared back, and overall total. Although I think the score was like very close.
it was. Yeah, we gave up a cap at the end of the game, and we were to fly, which is never fun. So I think we made a little bit of a mistake where we thought we had to push to get either a double cap or a flag so that we didn't lose by like a point or two. But when we went back and looked, we were like, if we would have just held out, maybe it would have been a tie, or maybe we would have even slightly won. I think we were up by a couple of points with like a minute left. So it was tough. I mean, in the heat of the moment, somebody makes a call and you kind of just roll with it. I don't think we would have really changed anything differently, but it was a lot closer than even the score made talking point going into like the last minute 13 of the game.
I think what you're describing is one of the main things that separates Dave Defeat from other FPS shooters, in the fact that DoD we have two halves, right? So you have maybe minutes in between each half as we load up. But in the half, there is no pausing. There is no round to discuss, like, oh, we lost the eco round. Okay, let's buy out. Switch it, right? And if you're getting capped on, that's not a good timeout, regroup, talk time, because the more you have those, the further in front. C is almost neat in a sense that once it starts, it's basically balls to the wall is the way to describe it for all that you don't have a firm voice on your team. It can become a little hectic.
Yeah, and hectic is probably a good way to describe it. We for sure weren't panicking at the time, but in hindsight, we should have probably done the math at halftime to figure out exactly how much we were up. We that was kind of the error we made. So we were kind of guesstimating around like 18 points, 16 points, and when you're talking about 1-2 points and ticks with a minute left, you kind of just have to make a call and go with it. So we did. It didn't work out for us. We pushed, and I think we got team wiped, and then they capped out. Maybe, but credit to Thunder, they historically kind of like almost like restrict you very slowly throughout the 40 minutes and just don't let you get any space. So we felt pretty good going into second half being up. But they kind of surprised us. They didn't kind of do the slow, restricting kind of death by 1,000 cuts that we're used to for them. They need to play sped up and kind of hit us in the mouth. And, we were to some of those punches, but ultimately they came out on top.
All right, so I went through your demos. I watched you play a little bit, and you were running. So other teams seem to send, at least in my scrims and stuff, we seem to send a rifle and the third rifle bridge on both sides, and then having the sniper in the loft and jumping out if need be. So you were the main rifle going bridge, it seems, right? And
Yeah.
well, let's just jump into it. Okay, so here with the first clip, we're about 7 minutes into your first Allies half. Okay, so here you are with a nade. Let's go.
Shocker me with a nade.
So you throw a nade. You almost got a TK there. That was.
Oh man, I remember this clip now.
Okay, so
yeah.
First of all, very first thing I want to draw attention to is where it skipped clips. Nothing but the finest production value here at MM1. Where is my playlist? Okay. Right. That's you right there.
Yeah.
Yellow splat. That's from you.
No, that's not. I'm
No?
the orange lambda. No,
Oh
I'm orange
man,
lambda.
who's the yellow splat? I was
That's
gonna commend you. The yellow splat, man of culture. I've been running the yellow splat for 15 some years.
Nah, I can't say that's mine. If I were to J-Rod or Dorito because they seem to
I
be
saw
running
it
that.
so much in your clip. Oh man, okay. So take back all praise that I was going to give you. Let's
That's
go
fair,
find a
that's
clip
fair.
you suck in instead. Okay, so
Yeah, I love it.
you know, if you're not the yellow splat guy, then I don't. Okay, so take back all praise that I was going to give you. Let's
That's
go
fair,
find a
that's
clip
fair.
you suck in instead.
We gotta
okay,
try
so
I love
something
it.
else.
you know,
because
if
the
you're
encoder
not the
is
yellow
not
splat
happy
guy,
with
then I don't.
me.
Okay, so take back all praise that I was going to give you.
So
Let's
That's
go
fair,
find a
that's
clip
fair.
you suck in instead.
we gotta
okay,
try
so
I love
something
it.
else.
you know,
because
if
the
you're
encoder
not the
is
yellow
not
splat
happy
guy,
with.
then
Okay, OBS has kaput. 1 second, everybody. You're muted, Caleb.
I think that we're echoing a little bit.
I fixed that. That was me.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. We are looking at. Sorry, everybody. This is the
No,
pilot
that-
episode for a reason.
Do you want to? Yeah, let's fix yours before we do that. I was going to offer we could do the River Oyster broadcast if we felt like that was
So
not going to skip.
the way I think that OBS is trying to, I'm gonna try to make OBS do a different way, because OBS was the thing that was failing at that point. Window capture.
I don't think OBS likes us very much.
It doesn't like us. That's the face of a man who delivers packages.
I wonder if that means I didn't wash my face when I got home, and that's what he's commenting on.
This thing.
I'm glad you're the one using OBS because I have no idea what that thing does.
I'm kind of giving it a little bit of time. It's dropping frames. That's the issue.
The barcode tans.
The barcode tan from scanning all the barcodes. Okay, if I have.
I'm learning so much stuff right now. I could pop out the
Hold on.
chat.
I think this is. You can pop out the chat. You can. Even.
Somewhere Hopper says pop out these.
Oh no, he said flare D's actually. You were close. You were close.
Only three in one day, dude. I'm a popular boy.
Okay, if I add audio output desktop.
No, real talk. AI in the workplace is not a fun thing.
So you have one of your teammates going up rope, right? And
Yep.
it looks like your heavies are winning. Okay, so your heavies are are pushing up. You can see in the kill feed that your right side of the map is getting a decent amount of kills. You're all alone at bridge.
Mhm.
What is going through your mind when you're all alone and you're showing and they know you're there because they can see the 1 out of 2? Are you waiting for someone? Are you checking in? Are you saying, "Hey, help me"? What's happening here?
Turn volume on
Yeah, it just
the
it
video.
just depends. So, if I'm the first one and I know that, let's say in this instance, Baron and Arachnid are up or at least spawned, I'm trying to get space on the other side of the bridge so they can cap. So that's probably why I'm holding W a little bit more here. My default when it comes to anything like this, especially if I get a nade kill or two, is that I just start feeling myself and I'm like, all right, I'm just going to start ego challenge, which is kind of what I'm doing here. But if I can get into my mind in a match, I don't think we have bridge at this point. So just trying to get space and take out any people that are potentially coming to nade bridge so they don't break the cap. And then also hopefully push, if our heavies were to get taken down, I can push up Susie's side, maybe get 1 or 2 more kills and cap out.
And that is what you do. You have a nice little spree here. I think you get like 4 kills total. This one made me laugh of the out of clip. We get a full Luger clip and then a full 1911 clip, and you kill him on your last bullet. I was 100% expecting you guys to just miss and all of a sudden pull out the spade and knife and just have an honor duel, because that's how it was, like a comedy of errors, which is one of my favorite things about rifle duels is when you get up close, because it's like as an automatic player, right? Up close is where I want to be, because
Yeah.
I can just unload, right? But watching rifles get up close, it's like if you pull out your pistol, miss, you just kind of like accept fate,
Right.
right? like at this point, he just accepted his fate. That was Dorito.
Yeah.
Dorito was like, well, I missed with my pistol, therefore I'm good game.
Yeah, he was probably a little bit upset. I'm sure 1 or 2 of those pistol shots he felt were right on me, which he's probably is right. But at that point, you just throw it up to the DoD gods and hope that you're the last one standing.
Well, DoD is kind of special in the sense that nowadays most FPS have cone of fire, right? And DoD only has like very specific cone of fire, but the pistols do have it. So if you're
Yeah.
pointing at someone, you can easily miss just by the random numbers that the random chance. So the pistol is not a laser gun, and then your heavies were able to steamroll the other side through rope and cap out for you guys there. So I think this we started off strong. This was your best like streak of like 4 or 5 kills, and then from there the game becomes very close. After this cap is where they start to come back. So our next one, we have you. I titled it Bridge Defense, so a little spoiler alert of what's coming. So they've capped bridge at this point.
Yeah, I think somebody's like still behind there.
So right here, the main thing I wanted to talk to about this one is you kind of lose your teammates. Okay? Your teammates, they kind of get picked early, and you are kind of the left alone. And so when it comes to double caps in DoD, right? Every map with a double cap, the double cap is usually by far the most important part of the map. So, as someone who runs these double caps, who runs these wide open spaces, what is the game plan when you need to take it, hold it, break it, retake it, so on and so forth? Are you just is it all intuition, or do you know, like, I just got to make sure they have it, so I need to make sure they don't push past bridge. I need to push up so my friends can get bridge. Like, what's your thought process for that?
Yeah, I think it depends on the map and who you're playing with. So, I mean, DoD respawn, right? So I know that if I go down, yeah, they may get a little bit more space, but it's probably unlikely they're going to cap out. But Arachnid and Baron are great kind of partners. So if they're both down and I'm alone on bridge, I'm just trying to buy as much time as I can. If I can kill 1, 2, 3 and take the space and do what I did in that first clip where you push up and kind of cause them headaches, then that's great. But it's really situational. Like you're trying to frag so that you can kind of skew the numbers in your favor when your team gets back. But I look at DoD as like trying to control as much space on my route as possible. And then the more space that I'm able to get on my side, it inevitably causes issues on other sides of the map. So if I'm pushed up all the way at their 1, maybe their heavies have to come back and look for me. The rifles are getting frustrated. They have to hold an angle waiting for me to peek. All the meanwhile, my teammates are getting space on the map, which space is what creates the cap outs.
So the main reason I clipped this one is it's very similar to the previous one. You get 2 kills in this defense, but then you choose, instead of pushing up like you did the last one, you choose to kind of hold on this docks area. Mm-hmm. And it's very clear that I think you're the furthest one up at this point. Maybe one's right next to you, because you guys don't know where, there's no calls. There's no information for you guys. Yeah. And then you get taken out by a respawn of Alice right there over in McDonald's. So what... Basically, I'm asking, what's the difference? The first one, is the difference the heavies? The heavies calling, hey, we're pushing, so you decided to push, and this one, you knew they weren't, so you decided not to?
Yeah, so one, it's the heavies. We don't have like somebody flying up rope, or we don't have the heavy side flag. But 2, I'm pretty sure, if I'm remembering correctly, I thought there was one more. And looking back at this clip now, I think Dorito TK is the guy I'm looking for. So if you can tell, I'm kind of firing at different things, hoping that somebody peeks. And I'm pretty sure it's Tox, and he got taken out, and I think I just missed it. So I knew there was like one more that was around, and I didn't want to go on bridge and give the indicator and then that person pop up and kind of take me out, because then I'm just throwing my life away. Mm-hmm. So if I'm remembering correctly, and it's a little bit fuzzy, but I think I'm looking for Tox here, and I just waited too long, and J-Rod kind of caught me with my pants down, peeking from McDonald's, and takes me out.
All right. Next clip, let's go. Yeah. All right. The one why I clipped that's a big feels bad, man.
It is. It feels terrible.
That's a big feels bad, man. Because you spend... you obviously hear that your heavies are down, right? Yeah. They obviously call out that they lost that side of the map. So here you are, and you spend a good... Oh, that's a good 4 seconds waiting for the heavies to come out. And then you decide Arachnid gets a double kill, right? And so you're like, okay, Arachnid's got bridge. This is me speculating. So then you go back, and then you get shot from the side you were holding.
I know. Feels terrible. Yeah, so the heavies make the call that they're down. I'm on docks, and I feel so exposed on docks. Like, I'm kind of crouched by one of the pillars, but I still am like, this is not a great place to be. And after a while, I'm just like, Arachnid just killed 2. We need to get space on our side. The heavies can deal with the right side. They're already up at this point, so I don't have to worry about like a cap out. So I'm like, let me just go help bridge. Maybe we can cap this. And as soon as I head that way, Jules comes out, shoots me in the side. And I definitely wasn't raging, but that's one of those moments where you're like, man, if I would have just held that angle for a little bit longer, I get that kill. Who knows what happens? Maybe the heavies have an easier time getting their side of the map. We get bridge, and maybe that's the 3 or 4 points we needed in ticks at the end of the match, where we didn't have to push and kind of end up getting capped on last second.
Yeah, I felt bad for you, so I had to include that in there. All right.
Thank you.
Here we go. This is at the very end of the half. There's less than a minute left, you can see, right?
Yeah.
So at this point, you guys are in the lead, right? And this is the end of first half, and Thunder is making an all-out push, right? Mm-hmm. So they are going for it.
Block somebody there.
So we're down to about 10 seconds. And they cap your first, but you guys had capped long right before then, and then the half ends before you can get there. So my main question is not so much your gameplay, but Chill Pill in general, right? What are the comms like in a situation like this?
It's I don't want to say hectic, because I think everybody was definitely in control of their emotions, but you just don't want to get capped out on. So you almost play a little bit less loose than you normally would. You're trying to value your life. You see Andrew's prone on the flag. You're not maybe challenging things that you should. Like, I probably shouldn't swing here, to be honest with you. I should probably just stay alive. But Milo just made a play. Like, I don't know that he necessarily called that out. I think he is one of the smarter players that I've played with, and he just realized, like, all this pressure is coming from the left side of the map. If I can sneak in and get the heavy side route, maybe that's going to alleviate some of the pressure, and it saved us from getting capped out on last second.
Yeah, that was my main question was that just Milo making a play, or was that the strategy you guys were running?
I mean, I don't. I recall the end of that half, and I don't remember Milo saying something like, I'm going to go grab the heavy route. I think he just kind of made a play. And I played with him all last year on Lads. He just does those kind of things, which is really nice, where you don't necessarily have to communicate all the time. Like, you can kind of just trust somebody to make a play like that. So it was a big play, and it could have been a match decider if we would have just held on a little bit stronger at the end. But yeah, I think he just made a play, and it worked out.
So you guys get Arachnid, Milo get some kills. Double kill from Milo there. And you guys decide to try to cap. Okay, so on a cap like this, now in DoD is one of those games, we have those constant respawns, right? DoD is a game, unlike other FPS, where you die a lot, right? Yeah. Even the really good players, like even back when we had a lot of divisions with a lot of top end players, you still just die a lot. It's just the nature of the game, right? And so you guys decide to make this call to try. You guys have a decent amount of kills to make this call to try and cap bridge, and you're both prone here. So now my question is more about this map than anything else, right? When you're trying to make this contested capture, there's not a lot of space here. You guys are basically prone on top of each other. Compare that to something like Lennon or even Harrington. How does your playstyle have to change based on maps like this?
Yeah. So I mean, in theory, I could have gone to the left there. I think if you prone behind that table to the left, that still counts as the cap. But honestly, I mean, I don't know that if we should have gone for that cap. Now, we had a few down, but I got walled a couple times on that little half wall there, that white wall there. So I think that's why you see me kind of shuffle behind Baron there. I was like, well, I'm not going to get walled again. And then I ended up getting hit from the heavy side, which completely slipped my mind that there's a big hole in the bridge that you can get shot from in your side. I think I was so tunnel focused on either one of the rifles or the sniper walling me through that half wall that I left myself exposed. So I don't know that the map needs to change. It is something different. Like, double cap should be breakable from multiple areas. I think that prevents just kind of silly people jumping on it and capping and getting away with it. So, and I'm sure we did it a couple times to them where they rushed to cap, and we either had a well-timed nade or we broke them from the heavy side. So it makes it interesting to me. You have to coordinate a little bit better. Like, maybe in hindsight, do we just have a quick call out to Milo and Chi on the heavy side and say, where are you at? Stock's clear before we hop on it. But you know how it goes in the heat of the moment. You kill 3 or 4, and you want to make sure that you're holding the double cap. So you're like, hop on this now, because seconds matter, like with respawn timers, and people know all the great nades. So we made the call, and I ended up getting clipped from the heavy side, unfortunately.
Yeah, which is a normal thing, happens all the time, right?
Yeah.
But it does kind of sometimes get in your head if that happens multiple times. Like, you might get a little capture shy. And the main thing here is, that table is paper.
Yeah.
And this rock is, you actually get shot. Jules is literally right through this rock at the corner there. That's where he is on docks.
I was super curious where he was because
Uh,
I didn't.
And so he just shoots through here, and he basically hits your shoulder in a sense, right? So this is the thing to me, is like, you have the box is your only source of impenetrable cover. And I was just wondering, because you both stacked up on that box, I wondered if that was the rationale behind, because the box cannot be walled.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, because I did get walled through that in a previous cap attempt by Dorito. So I remember thinking, like, I got to try to shuffle behind this box without exposing it too far to the right, to where like a wide peek from Batcave or a sniper could clip me too, but ended up not working. So I guess I'm a fool for that one. But
All right. Well, hey, thanks a lot for coming on here. I wish you the best of luck in your future weeks and with your YouTube channel. Go ahead. Where can we find you on YouTube?
oh, I love it. I'll plug it. Yeah, youtube.com/teamowner. Used to upload daily, definitely not daily anymore, more weekly. But yeah, channel's slowly growing. I think we're getting close to 500 subscribers. So if you are watching this and you're not subscribed, throw your boy a sub.
So that was Team Owner talking about his armory match. Anything stick out for you?
I didn't know that he was pushing up that Susie side. That was a really cool clip to watch. Also, yeah, that slab that you can wall through, it does make it hard to pull out those sneaky caps. I think Hallie has a very similar slab on the side of the box situation, and I don't know if it's just because gold silver difference, but I think you can wall it, but I didn't get walled through that very often while playing Hallie. But uh, I did notice a lot of my teammates in scrims dying from wall shots through that slab, so it does make it really hard to cap that middle flag if you're trying to force it like that.
I think the biggest thing that stuck out to me was his thought process about how, when they were stacking up on that mid cap, of the positioning, because that's probably, my worst. I died in grenades all the time, and it's probably due to my positioning, because I don't, I'm in the cap, right? And he's over there putting like a thesis together in real time about where he needs to prone and where he needs to be to give him the best chance of finishing that flag capture.
For sure. And it also, with that being a two-man cap, like, of course you just take one person out, and if that box can only protect one person, there's only so much you can do if you've got that many good players shooting at you.
So my next question, though, on Armory, we got to test this, is if I crouch behind the box, right, and you jump boost on me and you're crouched, are you still behind the box, or can the sniper see your tip of your head? Because that's the big brain move right there.
Yeah, I think the prone stack is gonna get the least amount of coverage from the or peakage. I don't know the exact wordage, but yeah, we're gonna have a whole new meta for this by next season.
These gold players need to think a bit more like a rat, like we do. That's gonna help them out a little bit more.
There it is.
Don't be afraid to do something goofy, right?
Yeah, and I do think we should plug Team Owner's YouTube and thank him for coming on the show. It's youtube.com/Team Owner, and he really killed it in that. And in this next clip, we interview Kellen. I did a little bit of introduction when we start the clip. I think we're just good to roll. And Kyle did a really great job on the production of the first one. You can see the webcams and stuff. When Kellen and I were done shooting our portion, our webcams were like pixelated, like old school Mario on 320. So we opted to not include the webcams in there, but I hope you guys enjoy Kellen's portion of this Armory interview. Hey everyone, this is Caleb. I'm here with Kellen River Oyster. We're watching his DoD Armory test demo against Spicy Buttholes on October 6th. Kellen, why don't you say hi?
Hey everybody, yeah, I'm Kellen, Riv, happy to be here. I think it's a cool little project everybody's putting together, so yeah.
We're watching you guys go the hallway side. It's you, Tony, and Hypnotic. What was your plan with Tony?
Yeah, so usually on both sides of this map, I usually play a little bit quicker. Tony usually goes rope off initial and then kind of slowly kind of backs me up. Here we're able to take them both out together, go ahead and push up through the long haul. And I think we get, pretty close to a cap out right here, just right off the bat.
Yeah, if I remember right, I think Tony rotated through docks and kind of left you here to do your own thing.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly where he goes. Somebody comes up with me. It might have been Hip, and we both kind of push through this little corridor here, and I jump up in the jump window, and we end up pushing to the first here. We get pretty close to a cap, but there's one more just waiting in the corner for me.
Yeah, I think Kevin was the last alive there. You've got 4 down here. Laura's over there on the left, and then there's one more right here on the left here. Yeah, after you guys really pushed up, you had an opportunity to cap out. They were able to defend really well. I think Laura went on a 3K, and then they were able to really secure a bridge. Kevin just got 3. Die Life just got a 4th. You're up here in this window over square. What's your priority when you play defense right here?
Well, assuming I do play defense, I probably should fall back. I doubt that's what I do, but I should, thinking about it, probably fall back and cover the 1. But I think I push up in a courtyard here, if I remember right.
The way that bridge is probably looking, let's see what you end up doing. Because I think it's you alive, and then based on it's you and 9 are the last 2 alive right now.
Oh, I did it right.
I think you did it really right because you just killed all 3 of their square team right there as well. And you guys flipped the table. I think now they only have 1 alive.
Yeah, and then you always got to clear out all the corners on this map. It's, especially with a team like Spicy who can definitely get a ninja cap on you. I really like that angle right there. You can really hide from nades. It's one of the hard things about holding long haul is hiding from all the nades and trying to peek at the right times. It's really, really hard against somebody like Sick or somebody who's really, really good at those kind of more informational peaks and has a lot more patience than I do. But we play 3-3 on this map. I don't know how other people are doing it. I think some are doing like 4-2. But we try to do 3-3 pretty much the entire time with the occasional kind of switch up.
And then for the other third, do you prefer a primary rifle or a secondary rifle going this route?
We prefer prime. We like to have the car and long haul, not only for them, but for me to pick up and use. So I think I pick up the car basically every time I see it in this demo, probably.
We fast forwarded quite a bit, and I wanted to ask you, Kellen, because you get all these cars, do you feel like this is an Axis or an Allied side of map?
I definitely think the map as a whole is allied sided. I think it's a lot easier to get that cap out on allies, but on Axis, when you can spread the cars around the map, you can definitely, hold. Like if we wanted to sit and hold and not try to cap, I think that's easier to do on Axis than allies. But I think allies is easier to cap on. It's just such a long sprint to that allied first with not a lot of cover. I think it's a little bit quicker to get to the Axis first from pizza or courtyard or whatever people are calling it.
Yeah. And then when you're throwing nades into bridge to break that bridge from the off angle, which half do you think is easier to throw that nade?
I think that was actually one of the first times I ever tried to throw that
Oh, really?
nade.
That's my bread and butter right there.
So I don't know. I don't think I've ever naded bridge on Allied side, and I don't think I threw a very good nade on Axis side. I should probably practice that. It's one of the things that a lot of players practice a lot more than I do is nading. Definitely something I could work on.
This is the clip that I wanted us to get to. Obviously, this is one of the strongest parts in the map because that has control over both sides of the map.
Yeah, so I got a pick there. I try not to stick around too long in rope. Then I'm able to get the car and kind of move up into long haul here. This is a really, really powerful angle with a car. And really just got to try to make the right peaks and play sound in this area, and you can really do a lot of damage.
One thing I like that you do in this hut is you do that really quick peek into dock. Because a lot of dock players are really focused on shooting the sniper in that spot.
Yeah, it's a really nice peak, but you really put yourself out in the open from the other from the left side with jump window and triple box area. So it's a risky peak, but yeah, if you can help your bridge team in any way, you definitely want to try to take that shot.
Brief scores real fast. First half, it was closer than I remembered. It was only 84-63. So you guys were only down by 21. You were leading the pack 36-24 on the first half. And you were saying that just getting out as even as possible is like a goal on the Axis side.
Yeah, so I mean, we kind of went into it thinking that if we can get out of Axis side without a cap, we'll feel pretty good about it. Obviously, we would have loved to have that cap right off the start. But we were able to make a couple saves. They got really, really close to capping on us a couple times. Yeah, definitely. I definitely think that's a win on this map. If you can just hold them from capping out on you, keep it within, one cap score wise, I think you should feel pretty good on Axis side. I think, yeah, it's just a lot easier to cap on allies. We have obviously me and Nine on the bars. That's a huge upgrade from the STGs. Sean, he might be a better Garand sometimes than he is a car. We felt pretty good going into the second half on this one, but we knew we were going to have to cap out, and it wasn't going to be easy.
One thing I wonder in this map is some people feel like it's like two different maps being played at the same time. Like there's a bridge map and then there's a hallway map. How do you feel about the crossover between the two sides of the map?
I think I've gone bridge once in a pug on rifle. I don't know. I really like this map. It's one of my favorite maps. It's like Armory and Lenin are probably my two favorite maps right now. It's a great heavy map, obviously. I like the kind of pick play you get from rope and from docks area onto bridge to kind of connect those a little bit. But I definitely have heard it from the other side that the bridge players don't feel maybe that same kind of like interconnectivity between the two routes. They definitely feel more like they're just going bridge the entire time and not really making an impact on maybe the heavy route. So I think this map is really important to have a heavy team that can help out on bridge side too. Yeah, yeah. I think bridge is definitely probably a harder spot to go, especially when you're going up with against Die Life, Dilliard and Stealth. I mean, that's a pretty potent bridge team. So yeah, it's definitely a hard spot to be in on this map. And I know Sean was a little disappointed in his play, but he carries us every other week. So if I got to step in on a map like this and lead the way, then we'll make it work. And that's the great thing about this team is like, somebody's always there to kind of step up. Like Hypnotic stepped up huge in one of our matches. Pibians had a couple of monster matches. So we have a lot of people that can kind of step in and fill that role.
The flags, you obviously have the hallway flag. You guys each have your singles. Bridge is the only thing uncaptured right now.
Yeah, so in this position, if our whole bridge team's down, one of us has to try to get over there. I like to go this way. I try to spam through that. I don't think I get him. But yeah, you definitely have to try to break up the bridge and help your bridge team out if you can. It's a hard angle. Yeah. It's a hard angle from over there in docks, and I didn't have time to get up and rope. So at that point, you just got to decide, like, okay, I'm not going to get there. I just have to hold this, so we at least have this, and we're not totally backed up to our one. And I really like this spot up here. That spot's really, really a fun one to play. You can kind of peek a bunch of different angles. You can hit bridge, get them coming up the ramp into rope. You can hit them in pie room, and so we call that area down at the bottom of that ramp. So it's a really, really powerful spot, especially if you can get a rifle. Yeah, yeah. So we decided we needed to have a name for that room because we had swing and we had long haul and we had rope, but we didn't really have anything for that connector area that's really powerful, and a lot of people like to sit there. So
You might cap out on this clip if my notes are correct. It looks like you guys have everything but the first. What's your goal right now?
yeah, at this point we're down. So I don't know what the actual score is, but in our mind, we don't have that first cap yet. So I'm looking to cap out here. I mean, that's the goal. That's what we're pushing for.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that one felt good. This cap out felt great. And that was the first cap. That was the one that put us over the edge. Um, I knew Die Life was there. I'd heard him. I looked for him initially up at rope before I came out swing door. So I knew he was there. Hit one of the shots of my life where it seems like you don't even stop. You just time everything perfectly and keep on going. And I just sprint out and I'm able to catch Jared with a nade in his hand at the first and shoot him and get the cap out.
I have this philosophy that some maps need more than just brute force to win. It's like coordinated peaks, that kind of stuff. Do you feel like this map does it need more than just one guy popping off to cap out?
It's such a quick map. If you can clear that side really quick, you can get at least a good run at the first. A lot of times you'll have to look if you're coming from courtyard over towards bridge where they go to bridge and that kind of Z connector. You'll get hit from there a lot, or somebody hiding to the right when you come out that archway through pizza or courtyard. But no, I think this is a map where one person can make a play to get the cap. You definitely have to think about, you don't want to put yourself in a bad position and push too much. So it's always trying to find the balance between the two. But yeah, if you have more than one going, definitely make it a little bit easier. But definitely a map where one person making one play can make a huge difference.
How do you have the patience to not jump out of the rope window? Like you get two in a row, like anyone who's thinking about a movie clip is I'm going to get this third kill, and you stay in that defensive position.
That's probably the only time I really have some control. But I don't like jumping out there. I've done it a few times. I've had a couple decent plays off of it, but you're so open to those rifles, and after you jump, and being up in rope is such a powerful position that I generally just try to stay there and kind of hold that area. Again, you can kind of see that I was really the only one pushing there, and you can kind of you can kind of get a few good frags and clear a little bit of a lane. And if your timing's right, I mean, a lot of it's just luck. You can sneak in and grab that flag real quick on the Allied side. And that's where it's different. On Axis side, it's a lot longer of a run to get to that first. So you can't make it happen quite as fast.
I wanted to rewind and watch that again, but I want to see if when you're watching it again, like, did you intentionally like just say I'm running to the flag?
Yeah, so I decided to bypass them because I don't remember if I knew that we had both heavies down, but I just got the one kill in a pretty forward position. I saw the sniper up there, decided I would just, make a run for it and kind of see what happens. Apparently, they had two people with the sniper because I think I killed Stealth in the sniper loft with the sniper. Yeah. So I heard him and I had just enough time. And honestly, a lot of times I wouldn't have stopped to make that kill. I would have tried to force the flag. But I guess I was on top of it in this match and I decided to, make the smarter play to wait for him, get that last kill and then get it.
I do know that Spicy does sneak a cap out in the last 30 seconds or so. I think Laura is able to sprint to a flag, and Day of Defeat is unforgiving to you, and even though you kill her on the flag. But you guys end up winning second half by 86 points or 96 points, well over the margin you guys needed, well over a full cap victory, even though they were able to get that cap at the end. What kind of preparation do you guys feel like you need going into this next week on Anzio?
Yeah, I think we need a lot of preparation. I think that's one of our worst maps right now is Anzio, which is surprising because a lot of us, we've been playing Anzio for years and years and years. But I don't know what it is. Our scrims are always we seem to not have the flow down quite right on Anzio. Maybe it's the combination of play styles. We haven't really figured it out yet. So it's probably my weakest map on heavy. Most of my experience comes on Anzio. I'm used to rifling, and I'm used to rifling bridge. And even though I've been heavying for towards the end of my years way back in the day, and then since I've come back last year, but yeah, I still can't quite figure out Anzio, so we got a lot of work to do because we have a tough opponent in 3H. So I know that they're going to be, yeah, we got a lot of work to do if we want to beat 3H on Anzio.
Thank you so much. I think we can wrap up this demo watching. Again, this is DoD Armory, which was week 5 of KTP season 4. Next week we have Anzio, and River Oyster will be facing off against 3H, against Modgers, against Crazy Killer, Namus, and the rest of the crew over there. And looking forward to seeing that match and seeing how you guys do. Thanks for your time, Kellen.
Yeah, thanks. It was awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the match. Should be a good one. Yeah, thanks again.
All right. Well, as someone who has to heavy against River Oyster in 12 mans and scrims and matches and such, watching his gameplay is a bit infuriating. Let me just say.
Yeah, there's a different level of defense, and
he's so smooth.
Yeah, and I was trying to like just make a joke, just like jump for the movie clip, but it just like even the patience to not go after that movie clip. I mean, obviously they got him in that clip, but I mean it's just like he is calculated in movements, and I wanted to ask him one thing I've always noticed when I watch him play is he does this thing where he's peeking a corner, he'll peek this far, this far, this far, and it's just these micro peaks at a time that he clears things very methodically. Like I know William does that. It's like some of the better players in the game are very good at those kinds of peaks.
The one that stood out to me was he was sitting on that long cap, and he was literally holding 1 pixel of
Oh God.
that angle from watching the axis come into it. And it's like even if I held that, I wouldn't see them come into it. I'm not that quick.
He did that same 1 pixel angle. He was down there on next to that painting that they call Pi. He was crouched there looking all the way up the rope ramp, and just like the narrowest of little, and it just like nails the dude one shot with the car. And it's like if I try that, I'm gonna miss, and then 2 guys are shooting me.
Yeah, well, and especially that clip he was saying that he was feeling himself on Die Life there. I mean, the DoD gods were with him is what it came down to.
Yeah, I made a movie for Kellen many years ago, and that strafe peak that he has, he did that against United 5 on Railroad. I can still picture the clip. He's just coming through 4-way. It's not as smooth as Bees or Lucas Ekman when they're just like not stopping at all, but like it is very smooth where he just stops, and it looks like he just like tripped on a rock and then shot at that moment he tripped, and then just like keeps going. It's a smooth, very smooth play.
Yeah, movement in DoD is probably the most important thing that separates the really good players versus the just good at FPS players. Because it's such an old game, right? It's basically on ice skates that if you can master, and I'm not talking just bunny hopping or anything, I'm talking like that control with the being able to have the game think that you're at a complete stop so you don't mess up your accuracy. Just knowing exactly when that is, that feel for that movement is something that I have never had, and I don't think I ever will.
Yeah, and Corey's a really good friend of mine, and whenever I talk to Corey about like him playing DoD, and like I try to get him in the mindset of like we're going to win this match, and whenever I watch Corey play, I've made movies for him, and he used to stream a lot on Twitch, watching his Twitch stream. It's there's some of these players that have been playing for so long. Like we understand mechanically that we have to stop when we shoot. Like we understand how that works and how the crosshair, the cone of fire gets smaller, etc. But like, there's something about some of these players that are the very old school players. Bees has this as well, where you're watching them and you're just like, wait, he didn't stop at all, and it's this little bit of magic, in my opinion, that it's just like they can't even describe it themselves what they're doing. They just know that feel, and when they're in that groove, they're gonna hit those shots, and it's some of these players are just really really fun to watch when they're in that groove. And in that clip when he capped out, you could tell he was in that groove.
Do you remember in beta with the classic two little lines and the dot in the middle, and it would swing like this?
Yeah,
There, like the ability to just know exactly when it's right in the middle and shoot is. I'm pretty sure that's where it came from. Which just that swinging crosshair
I was
in the
so
field
bad back
goal.
then. Like my crosshair didn't move. It's the only way that I shot anyone was if I was deployed with a machine gun. But um, sometimes when you're watching those movies like that crosshair's moving, you watch everyone's seen Hannibal, final chapter, and it's just like that spree on Zaphod where you're just wondering, is he thinking about his crosshair or is he just closing his eyes and he knows how this game feels? Like
I think just his intuition. Well, like I said, this is something I don't know. We'll have to ask someone. But you know who does have extreme intuition for this game is a man, the myth, the lawyer legend, Nick Patton. And so we're gonna end here with talking to Nick Patton, who plays Sniper on Armory. And it's really funny because we're going from Kellen, River Oyster, who was talking about how he had us a lot of fun on these types of maps, into Nick, who has a very different take on this map.
yeah, it's funny. This map's designed for snipers by the beta gods, and we're just taking a copy of Murder Rave of the sniper map, and here comes Nick with his critique.
All right, I am joined here by Nick Patton from North South Alliance and KTP Gold for this season 4. Patton, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
So we just had our week 5 matches where you guys played Team Over on DoD Armory. Can you just give us a little rundown of how that match went? Any cool things happen?
Well, we won the match. That was pretty cool. I think we got a very early lead on Allies. Couple quick caps, and then the strategy on maps like this or like Thunder is usually get a nice lead and then hold because the bridge is so defendable with grenades. Our rifles have such great knowledge of grenades, and our heavies are really good at rotating. So I feel like once we were able to get the lead, we were able to stop them from capping bridge most of the time. It's my recollection. And yeah, that's generally the plan. We're heavy on rotates. I think people know that. We just run all over the map when a spot opens up, and this is a map where you can take advantage of that. People don't expect it.
So I wanted to talk to you about this map a little bit. This is a remake of a classic map, DoD Murder A. We've had remakes of Murder A before that haven't seemed to catch on. Do you think this one has a future?
I think a lot of people know that I don't like this map. I don't think there's a problem with the way the map was remade. I think it's like clearly an improvement on Murder A. I just, as a sniper, don't appreciate the lack of creativity I can have on this map. I mean, it's pretty much just go to the window, play some meta game, sprinting back and forth nonsense. And sometimes you can change it up. Like, looks like what's happening in the clip here. I'm gonna go down on the bridge instead of the window. I don't like the lack of the ability to move and rotate. I've probably been down the heavy side of the map less than 10 times, and I've played the map several times at this point. There's no need for the sniper to rotate, and really your role is to just lock down bridges as much as you can. It's gives you a lot of kills, but I don't like it that much. I didn't like Murder and so I don't particularly like this map. So it's definitely an improvement though. Like especially the rope house and the heavy route connect. Maybe something could be done about how easy it is to nade bridge from everywhere, but I don't know. Probably more fun for other classes. I'd like to hear what other people think.
So that's very interesting because I don't snipe at all, nor have I ever picked up a sniper rifle on purpose. So the main thing that I had for you, question-wise, is because this is such a different class than how I play, since I play automatics, heavies or lights. What necessarily is the job of the sniper in a 6v6 format like this? And does your job change? Like you were saying, this map is more, you only have one route basically to go. Does the job change based on the map?
Yes, I think it's extremely map dependent. On this map, you have pretty much the one role of being able to cover bridge. If sometimes you leave to help cap, but usually you're covering the cap, stopping. Just you have a lot of coverage from especially ally side. Like you can see rope house really easily and cover two spots really well. On other maps, it's different. Even on Thunder, it's a little different. I think you move. I mean, you do a lot more moving on that map. Like you get middle, you can move up. You can cover mid house, try to push to the enemy second flag and get in good positions to pick off a lot of people, clear up some space. Anzio can be. I think snipers play that map so differently. Like I like to do a lot of rotating. Some snipers sit like on ally side will just sit in plaza in the tower, which is also very powerful. Like you cover long ramp, it's very hard to shoot you. You can hide from double windows, which are hard to kill from pizzeria. But I like to move around more on that map. I'll push through middle or go bridge and cover the spawn. But I've seen snipers approach maps many different ways. I think it's also team dependent, right? Like sometimes your team can dictate how you behave. I work a lot with PDX and Leo on some maps. I feel like on Len and Long, what I'm doing is very dependent on what the rest of the team is doing. So I don't know if that answers your question, but there's a lot of different things you can do. So I don't like this map because I don't feel like I can do very much.
Your
but
creativity is squashed, is what you're trying to say. You don't get the
Yeah.
the cool little change it up, keep you interested type deal. So the thing that I did is I went through your match and I picked out some parts that stood out to me. First and foremost, this is we're watching these together and we can see these on the screen right now. First and foremost, this is my submission to KTP anti-cheat first and right away. Because clearly this is not normal, and you are a superhuman and therefore must be cheating because I can't make that shot, so therefore no one can make that shot in my mind, right? So let's watch this clip here.
Allies, so this is the first half.
What? I'm sorry? Hold on, I'm not done. Let's go back.
I'm pretty sure.
Let's go back.
Yeah,
Hold
no,
on.
it'd be-
Hold on. You shot One shot with the 1911. One shot with the deagle. Not only was it one shot, you hit the box. This is a walled 1 deag. Are you serious?
I think he had no health. I'm not sure.
I don't care. I saw that and I was like, he's cheating. End of story. There's no other explanation. So, the funny part is here you go with the, let's go back a little bit with
So this
the,
is the start of the game, I think.
yeah, this is the
Yeah.
your very first kill in the game.
Yeah.
So we can see that, this is why it's funny is your shot here, not very close, if I'm
Yeah.
being honest with you.
A clear miss. Yeah.
Right, a clear miss, like getting warmed up type miss, right? And then all of a sudden you just follow it with a walled headshot from the pistol, and I like how? What made
Is
you
it a
what made
headshot,
you
though? I
just
don't
shoot
know.
one and then pull out the gun after that?
So I don't know. I do this a lot. I think people know that I do these attempts with pistols. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I think when you switch to your pistol and fire a shot, that it's like more accurate than, this is my theory. I don't know if it actually pans out, but I feel like the first shot is always quite accurate. You switch to it. So I do try these shots every once in a while, and here it worked out, right? It paid off. Sometimes it gets me killed. I'm sure we'll watch some of that. But here we killed Kumkum. I don't know if Kumkum had 10 HP or if I headshot him. I have no idea. If I headshot him, it's obviously more valuable, but I don't know.
That blew my mind. It just started the game off. That's right off initial, and you get one of the things. And so,
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right?
which leads me to the most important question. It is 2023. We have been playing this game for 20 plus years if you played beta, right? Why do you still have the help dog on?
I guess I didn't realize that was a client side thing.
Is he
But
just
I definitely do have the help dog on.
do you even notice it
He's
anymore? Or
He's
is it
encouraging
just...
me. He saw. Do you see how much?
Yeah, he says
he
keep
likes
up the
that
good
shot?
work. Okay, so that was just the thing that just blew my mind when I saw that shot. I just had to ask it.
The
So
help dog,
then
right.
So then we get to a clip. We'll pause it here. We get to a clip that is kind of indicative of what you were talking about being in the loft. So here we have you. This is on Allies first half, right? It is a couple minutes into it. I didn't write down the exact time, but it's a couple minutes into the half. You guys had no one's capped yet, and you're running up into loft. So let's do it. Let's watch this real quick.
All right.
So there we saw you try that pistol
Yes,
thing again.
we saw the desperate pistol attempt.
So you get one. Grab a second. And now you just kind of chill. There's a third, a fourth,
Yeah.
right? Decide you want to jump out. Immediately jump
We got a
out
cap
and
here.
immediately
Okay.
grenade.
See what I mean? Yeah, the nades are ridiculous.
So, when looking at that clip, this lines up to me exactly like this was the point I was trying to make, and you already made it. It didn't seem like it felt like if you left loft, you died, quite literally here.
Right, right. See, I try to keep it interesting, and I'm punished severely.
So then this shot right here, let's see, so that's your second shot. Then you get someone up in rope. Nope, maybe that was your fourth one. Right here. There's your rope kill, and then your loft kill here. Was that loft called out, or was that just your internal clock that went off of saying they should be back by now?
I think that's just like one of those moments that comes with playing the game a lot. Like you just, so probably I was called out by like I probably knew that the sniper had either died within the last 15 seconds or had not shown their face for a while. And you know, when you kill another player, you're assuming Till made the call to loft, and so you know, I'm probably not even actively thinking about this. It's just like routine at this point. Like there's the one place the snipers peak, so getting ready for him to do it. It could have been called too. I see that's probably PDX down there, so could have also been called. It's common for us to get that call. And the other thing about this map, you'll notice I crouch walked a lot up to the loft. I don't even know if that was a good idea in this situation, but the lofts are quite noisy. They make a very distinct noise, so it's very easy to call out who's up there and like which side of the window they're on or whatnot. So
All right, so then on the ally side, you guys had a very, very fast double cap. So this is the first cap. You didn't really do much. You just sat in loft, and your team capped out for you. And so then
yeah,
we
I
get
think
to
it was
this.
Bud.
Then we get to this initial, and this is the only time on this entire half that you choose to do this off initial. I can't stop sound in a demo, so we get the nice little,
Oh yeah, we
get
get
the nice little
nice.
fanfare the whole time. We see a nice little nade flip there. And you went docks. Not only did you
Yeah.
go docks, you had the perfect shot
It
on Mata
worked.
right there.
It worked. Yeah. I think part of that might have been because I had a bad spawn, so I was behind everyone, so I knew that Mata would be there first, and so the decision was to come at a different angle. One of the only two others available.
And so there you guys you
And
got
it
a
paid
a
off.
double cap in 40 seconds. For that second
Yeah.
cap right there.
Momentum is a thing. DoD, for sure, as we know.
That is a couple times off of initial you went loft, and before you even peeked, I guess Mata saw your shoulder and shot you through the wall. So I think this might have also been kind of a frustration for you. I don't know how animated you get during the game, but if it was me and I kept doing the same thing, I'd be like, fine, I'll go a different way. And it worked out because you can clearly see in that clip Mata is looking at the sniper loft. And then you can just see the top of his head, take it off, and then all of a sudden you guys easily cap bridge. Your heavies rolled over, got there first, and you get a nice cap out in 40 seconds. So then we switch over to Axis Half. And this is the part where Axis Half was second, if I remember correctly. So
Yeah, second half.
my question here is, while you guys are already up, right?
Mhm.
I'm just gonna play it.
Is this early in the half or later?
It's a bunch of clips all together.
Oh, okay.
So you get a nice shot. I didn't even put the scope on these. This is how the just like
Yeah.
what
Oh,
are
yeah,
you
I spent a
doing?
lot of-
What like what's the play here?
I think I was bored.
That was honestly what I was
think
gonna ask you.
bored of the window.
Were you bored and you just decided to up your difficulty?
I wanted to try this out. Yeah.
So I have died to stealth in there in a couple scrims. So here we see
It works at some point. I realize. I remember it working.
you died. So this is the second time you've now not only you had died, you ran back to bridge, you got like 1 or 2 kills, and then you immediately jump in water again. Was this like so? This is clearly something you're choosing to do,
Oh yeah.
and I it's just like, why?
I don't think it was a good decision.
Looking back, you're like, my team carried me right here.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a great explanation. I think I was bored.
I think I was bored.
Yeah, probably gonna get yammed by PDX.
So
being
I just feel
exposed.
like your accuracy is much lower in the water because these are shots you would not. These are shots you would not
My
miss
personal
on the bridge.
accuracy is lower, yes, but the bullet does go where you're pointing.
I don't know. Your pistol's all over the place.
I was
You're-
still moving when I made that shot, though.
You're even trying the
That's why.
nice little no scope in the water there. So here's
Yeah,
where
I
it
think
works.
I'm just a distraction at this point.
You finally got a couple, and the dog's telling you you're tired and you should take a break. So
Going
you
to
got 2 kills in the water the whole game, and here we
Yeah.
go back to your go. All right, well, thank you so much for joining me. Good luck for the rest of the season. I know you are already a KTP champion, so good luck adding a second one to your season 1 victory.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And that was Patton talking about how he doesn't like Armory.
Yeah, well, if you're spending half the game in the water just because you're bored, yeah, I get it. But they did come out with the win, and we were talking about different players having this strafing that just seems like magic. I mean, between Patton and Paintball, I can't think of a different player who could do that kind of pistol shot. Just one, you know. And Patton does this thing where it's like he has it down to the frame where the one frame that the pistol is out that it can actually shoot, he pulls the trigger and he's already got the primary rifle coming back out. And I don't know if I don't know if he could do that on land, if that would have the same kind of like frame difference, is that, or if it's just the ping he's used to playing on. I doubt you could do that on a South American server, pinging from um, the DC area, because like we all know if you add 100 ping to anybody, it totally messes up the whole pistol switching motion. But he is so smooth and so practiced with that, and then he can just get that pistol shot off, and like it almost makes me wonder if there's a millisecond where the pistol first comes out, that shot's going very straight. I know, Ward, you said this theory that the first shot of a Tommy gun was pinpoint accurate, like there's no cone of fire for the first shot, and he would brag. He'd be like, oh, we would just like reload the Tommy gun and we'd use that first shot, we'd only hit headshots. And it's just like I don't know how true that is,
As
but
someone
for the
whose main
pistol,
gun is the Tommy, I have never
yeah,
thought
exactly.
that.
Exactly, but Ward is very convinced about that, and it almost makes me convinced about this pistol theory.
Well, NSA Patton's team won handedly, both first and second half. So that's what I was giving them ribbing them a little bit for being bored, because they were up by multiple cap outs at that point.
Yeah, I do want to clarify. When you are in the water, if you are completely stationary, it is as if you're standing stationary. When you're moving, and then if you come to a stop, it's a little bit like Mario when he's on an ice level, where you do have a little bit of a glide. When you're gliding in that little bit, you do not have perfect accuracy. But when you do come to the complete stop, you will have perfect accuracy. The entire time you're zoomed in, you have perfect accuracy as well. So all those shots that he was missing, that was just skill difference. Also, when you're shooting from below in that angle, that's a harder angle to hit.
And it's an angle you're not used to, so it looks different.
But yeah, there's a clip. God, I don't know what movie it's in, but that it was the first time I ever saw it. Was a clip of a movie that Windian made way back in the day. I'm sure it's probably just called Windian or something like that. But he did all these clips in the water, and then I think also Duck Dodgers might have done a lot of those water clips on the original. I think it was Rommel, and then it was probably Murder Ray as well. Um, and it blew my mind. I was just like, wait, you can shoot while you're in the water? And obviously, now in these later versions of DoD, if you jump, the gun goes away and you can no longer shoot. So the whole premise is you never press spacebar when you enter the water, and then you always make sure you're at a complete stop whenever you start shooting. And it's honestly a bit overpowered, because if you go under the water, you make noise, but then you're harder to see. You can jump out easy. It's just there's a lot of different creative things that can be done there. And I know he was trolling there, but that spot over there on the left, you can really see that window pretty clearly. Like, it's good for 1 or 2 gimmick kills, and then you just go somewhere else. And then the more you harass, it's the more points you're getting with ticks.
Yeah, and it's it just sends them back to the spawn. It wastes their time.
Exactly, especially if like, I don't want to give up too much strategy, but I really do like Axis in the water. Nicholson was teasing me because I didn't get into the water at all when I played him when I was on Axis side, and I didn't. And it was a bit of disappointment for me because I really like some of those spots in the Axis water on this map. But um, there's a lot of different angles that like people just aren't even aware of, and like he got one of those shots where he's under the bridge and you can see straight through docks, and it's just some of these things people are just peeking and they're looking somewhere, and then you're just where they're not looking. And I think that when these maps are going to be played in a few different scenarios, maybe in a few different drafts coming up, these different peaks will all be ironed out where they're not going to be gimmicky or cheesy. The way I always remember, I don't know if we have any StarCraft 2 viewers, but when Artosis first started playing StarCraft 2, Protoss, he was doing all these cheesy strats, and it was just fun to watch because you're like, how is he proxy pyloning all over the place? And to me, some of these newer maps have a lot of those aspects where you can find this one play that you're like, wait, that can be done, and then you get a 3K out of it, or you get a cap out of it. It's a lot of creativity when these maps first come out.
And this is the cool thing about Tox 9 and maybe Lure for Heisey, who's helping them coming back and remaking or making new maps, is all these new things like under that bridge where he finally got those kills from water. I'll never check there. I will never ever check there unless it's called or he misses his first shot, and then I'm looking for him. So it's like it's new possibilities, right? And new, and it I don't necessarily like the term meta, but it has the opportunity to introduce new metas to the game, and this is a game that really hasn't changed for 16 years.
Yeah, and I don't know if I definitely don't want to sound like I'm advocating to add rivers to every map, but
I
I do
am.
think
I am. Let's
yeah,
add it. Let's do it.
yeah, it would definitely improve my play. But I an electrical box. No, 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 no. We can remove
Put
we
it
can
like
remove this guy.
we just make Sven co-op again. Go turn on the electricity and
Oh
shock all
man,
the aliens.
this guy's literally trying to put me out of business. But I really do like these macro changes that we can add to these maps. Like I'm not really looking to have micro to change the mechanical way that we're playing the maps, but to have like a little bit of a twist. Like the difference between Railroad 1 and Railroad 2 was enough of a twist. Just like God, train car alone, being able to wall the train car effectively, that kind of stuff, really just changed the whole way that route's played, even though it's still a bottleneck. But like, I really do like this idea of having a bridge that we're testing over, where like on Anzio, if you're under the bridge, like you're kind of useless and you're going to get picked off rather easily. Like basically, you're under the bridge on Anzio because you're trying to get on top of the bridge
Right,
eventually.
you're trying to get to manhole. There's no angle from that water.
Yeah, or that water ramp is your best way back up. And I mean, Axis down there, they're probably just running towards the short ramp. But like with this map that we're talking about here in Armory, like you have two different ladders you can break bridge from. You can climb docks and really just be a nuisance to the allies. And obviously, you have a giant rope that just takes you to the most OP spot on the map. I mean, it's just there's a lot of like different things you can do while in the water.
Well, I am on record, and I will continue to be an advocate that I would like to see a different type of map design for competitive DoD in the sense of more objective based instead of just route based. So things like do you remember the map DoD Zalik, where the map literally changes halfway through it once you get the objective, the church literally falls over and your spawn places change and you have a new
God,
route going. Like, let's get stuff like that. Let's mix it up a little bit.
I think it would be really cool to have like obviously we have a lot of maps that are the 1-1 double 1-1, or it's 1-1 double,
Hmm.
and so like we have a very traditional map format, and even just having a map that has 4 flags like this one is a little bit of different juice for us.
And I'm gonna be honest,
But
I don't necessarily like it. We saw at the beginning in the team owner interview of Milo making that really big brain play to go cap the warehouse,
you got to stop the gap out.
but that is like 1 in a million. There's no easy way to stop a cap out. Like in Anzio, you can sneak someone to street, capture street, and have someone hold street while you try to fight for your first back. In Armory, that's almost non-existent because of that warehouse is also 3 seconds to cap that flag. So there's no like quick saving cap for that, and that's something we're so used to, like you said, with like the Anzio flag setup or even the Harrington flag setup or something like that. There's always those quick flags you can cap to prevent the cap out, but that's not the case unless you go all the way to the other side of the map in Armory. But if you can get all the way to the other side of the map, you're not about to get capped out on anyway.
Well, yeah, that, and if you're able to get to the other side of the map, you're probably giving up a lot of pressure that might cause a cap out. And it did work out for Milo to be able to secure that. And another thing that I think is like, I feel like Day of Defeat has very few thrilling moments. Like in Counter-Strike, you have every single time a round ends, it either everyone died, a bomb killed everyone, or a bomb was defused. So it's just like all three of those situations are like very high pressure situations that everyone wants to watch. And in Day of Defeat, like one of those three moments that we have is when I'm capping the last flag on the map for my team, but the other team caps a flag in the very second before. And then we think it's a cap out and it's not. And that is such an exhilarating moment, especially for casters. And this map won't have that, unfortunately. But I do think that the caps are so far in between that, like, once that cap does happen, it is definitely thrilling enough.
I will say the other main map that has a super thrilling ending is a map that I personally like, but seems to get a lot of hate, is Shamil, especially on the access first. When the allies are pushing into Shamil and all the access are safetied on that first, that to me is extremely thrilling to have 6-on-6 combat fighting over one flag.
I also think on Shamil, like, anytime the opposing team can get to the first flag is some of the best movie clips in DoD. And obviously, Akpith on Axis first with the standing bar against Xeno comes to mind. But I do agree with River Oyster. I want to tell a quick anecdote. I don't know if Kellen remembers this. At CPL 05, Kellen and my brother were on a team together, and they were coasting through the upper bracket. They took down Tech with Oplade, Plex, Netherhell, Jeebus, forgetting a few guys. And then they took them down on Harrington. They're feeling great. And then they go to Railroad 2 against Pandemic. They lose to Pandemic by like this just painful cap where Pandemic's able to cap on Axis. Pandemic's allies, they're able to cap out. I think not Kellen. I think Moneybee is up in his spawn, looking at his last flag, and he misses the shot. And I think it's one of the Pandemic players. I forget who it is exactly. Caps out, either he's dead or it's just one of those moments where you think that you lost it, and they're able to bring it back and they almost win, but Pi gets like a quad kill from on top of his spawn to stop a cap out, so they lose, so they get knocked to the lower bracket. Yeah, last second cap, dude. After the match, I'm hanging out with them, and Michael is just so dejected, and he's just like looking at the ground. He looks at me and he's like, if I had a machine gun, I could have stopped that cap. because I'm a machine gunner, and he saw me and he realized his mistake. But so they had to play Shamil the next map in the lower bracket against Ninja, Cyan, Josh Brown, Decano, Marshall Drummond, and God, who was their other rifle? But it was against Highball and AU. And
Was Bees not on the high ball at that point?
no, Bees was actually on that Tech team that they beat on Harrington. But I'm blanking on who that last guy was on Highball, and they played Shamil, and this is for like quite a bit of amount of money, and they lose on Shamil against Ninja. No, Akpith was on Elephant. And they lose on Shamil, and my brother is just so defeated because they just lost 2 in a row, And I just remember Kellen's like, well, I can buy a new graphics card with this money. And then, like back in the day, like we're running on shit computers, and like that was big money for Kellen.
Yeah.
That just came to mind about Shamil.
Well, that's it. That's all we got.
Yeah, after that long story, we can probably land this plane.
Yeah,
We
let's
got
do it.
Anzio next week.
So this a pilot episode. We were trying stuff out. If you guys sat through all our 46 minutes, thank you. If you could do us a favor and let us know what you liked and what you didn't like, that would be super helpful as we decide what this is going to look like going forward. If you're not a fan of watching pilot episodes, that's one of my favorite things to do is watch like the pilot episode that never got aired on TV shows. Specifically, one of the best TV shows ever made, Avatar: The Last Airbender. If you watch the pilot episode, it's a completely different show. So we're
I need to
here
rewatch
to.
that. I haven't seen that in a while.
Oh, the pilot never aired. You gotta search it
Oh,
out.
we got to YouTube it.
Yeah,
Nice.
and so if this was not worth the time, because this did take some time, and huge thank you goes out to Colin, Kellen, and Nick for their time
Huge
and
thank you. Thank you, guys.
and their insight, providing us things that different ways to think about the game that we never would have been able to provide ourselves. But if that wasn't worth the time, let us know, and we can pivot into something else. So feedback is super super helpful. And as we come to this.
Yeah. Also, when you guys have good halves, if you have a whole match that you just dominated, we're probably gonna slip into your DMs and ask you, do you guys want to come on the show? Or if you guys just have bubbly personalities, shoot us a DM, because obviously we enjoy talking to you. We enjoy bringing more people in the community onto the screen so that we can share this game that we really enjoy playing together.
Yep. So, Caleb, thanks for your time tonight. Thank you for
Of
everyone who
course.
is watching. And I am going to be streaming on Sunday. I'm going to be streaming the Spicy Buttholes versus the No Go Gaming Council. And then I'm also
Nice.
streaming Monday. I'm going to stream Nation of Arum, who we didn't talk about today, but like, hats off to them. The first time DoD players in the year 2023, like, good lord. Let's cherish them, and let's do everything we can to help them out.
Yeah, we've got good players that are taking them under their wings, and like, I don't know if by playoffs they're going to be ready to sneak a win, but I mean, if they're still enjoying playing the game, it's a game that we still enjoy playing too.
Right.
And
We play it competitively, right? Like we're still running a competitive league, as for how many years later, but like the love of the game is why, right? And so we want to
Mhm.
share this game with new people, and it's great that they were receptive of it. And I really hope that they why we love this game so much.
yeah, and I do also want to say, Kellen, who was the middle player that we watched in the heavy route, River Oyster, is also going to shoutcast a match on Sunday. I think he's doing the early European schedule of Saab versus Washed Up. Washed Up, obviously, with Paintball, Hopper, and Bullet Fodder against Saab, which is Saigon Blue Rain, Nightmare, Manor, and that whole crew. That should be a good game. I think I'm riding the bench for that, because when we removed machine gunners from Anzio, I kind of lost my purpose.
We were talking about Shamil. Shamil to me is the most MG map to ever MG. So.
Oh man, Shamil MG is like soul killing though.
And
Like
then
even yeah.
I'm not too sure who Corey is going to be shoutcasting, but I'd bet he's definitely going to shoutcast one or two matches. So
Of course, yeah.
the goal, one of the problems with everyone playing matches at roughly the same time is you don't get to see very many matches. But hopefully we're getting a good spread so we can get more DoD in our lives.
Yeah, the nice part about you and I riding the pine for both of our teams, like maybe we can cast more of these matches.
Yep. All right. So thank you to everyone. Go ahead and start stuffing that suggestion box for us, and as we decide what this is going to look like. And I hope you guys have a good night.
Peace, guys.
Time to 12 man, right?